really felt it. So that's partially, you know, what has led me to do this. This is a new thing for me, and when I first started, the book came out in January, and I first started doing speaking engagements. I was very anxious about it, but I really feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. So it's really what I wanted to say, too, is that, you know, life is made up of defining moments, and when you hear those words, you have cancer, you really stop and take a breath and think about how you've been living your life before cancer and what you're going to do after cancer. What are you going to change? Where are you going to go from here? And since we've all heard those words, just want you to think about what y'all are doing now, and hopefully it's what you want to be doing the rest of your life from here on out. I feel like we're all connected and we're all here to support each other. But there are a lot of funny things that go on during this breast cancer journey, and I feel like if you don't have your humor, then that is a detriment. So the first passage I'm going to read from my book is when I was getting ready to have my lumpectomy. Okay, the first go-round in 2006, I was diagnosed. It was a mixture of DCIS and invasive. It was caught early, but it was aggressive. It was estrogen positive. Because it was so small, all the doctors that I interviewed, and then my surgeon who I decided to go with, and my oncologist who I decided to go with, suggested a lumpectomy, radiation, and tamoxifen. So that's what I did. Then when it reoccurred a year later in 2007, again, it was early, but it was aggressive because it had not shown up on the scans 6 months before then. So the protocol was a mastectomy, and that's what I had. And then when they got the report back, I found out that it was HER2 positive. So I had Herceptin infusions for a year, 6 rounds of chemo, and it was estrogen negative. So it was a different type of cancer. So my first go-round, I had the lumpectomy, which, how many of you have had lumpectomies? All right, and how many have had mastectomies? Okay, don't you think that the lumpectomy was worse? No?
They did mine all at one time, so.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I had a real hard time when they were putting the guide wires, you know. Okay, so you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. Okay. The nurse, Danka, introduces herself and then introduces the doctor, who's going to put the guide wire and the radioactive tracers in my breast. They're both very calm and happy, immediately putting me at ease. They will be using the mammography machine images to guide them. As soon as the process begins, I realize I really want some Novocaine. It is slow going and very painful. The doctor starts to put the wire in my breast and I flinch. The nurse holds my hand, which helps. All of a sudden, I feel ringing in my ears and everything looks far away. I'm going to faint, I whisper as I start to fall. Danka and the doctor hold on to me and lie me on the floor. He quickly goes around the corner for a chair as she puts some sheets under my head for a pillow. When he brings the chair in, Danka helps put my feet on it. There I am, buck naked, except for a thin gown, slipper socks with grippers on the bottoms, and my feet are up in the air. Even though I'm passing out, all I can think about is that the door is now open and I'm exposing myself to everybody walking by in the hallway. But at least I'm not thinking about the pain in my breast. So, after that experience, I thought, well, I guess there is some humor in this. The next passage I was going to read is after I recovered from the lumpectomy and I was able to go on drive on a 6th grade field trip with my 11-year-old. It's Monday morning and I feel so good that I agree to drive on a field trip for Nick's class. It's a team building camp about 30 minutes away in the country. When I reach the school, 6 11-year-olds climb into the Suburban and wrestle over the controls for the DVD player. Nick brings out a movie and we're on our way. When we get to the park, I let the kids off. They go off with their teacher and I find a place to park. Later, I find the trail I saw the kids take and trek down a hill, over a creek with a rustic wooden bridge, up a hill, around several curves, until I hear kids yelling words of encouragement to their classmates. I marvel at the beauty of the woods, the sunlight streaming through half-naked branches, the brilliance of the colors of the leaves that are left. I breathe deeply the fresh smell of the changing seasons. As I approach the group, I see everyone in helmets and harnesses, even the teacher, who is a nun from the Philippines, in full habit and dress. I stand off to the side and watch the kids climb one by one into the air to a platform where they take turns with the zip line. They're laughing and yelling. The kids who are hesitant are encouraged and coaxed. The others fling themselves off the platform with glee into the air, trusting the gear, reveling in the free fall from one tree to the other. This is life, like life, I think. You need the support of others in your endeavors. You need the confidence that these activities build, and most of all, you need the feeling of freedom to be yourself. The last passage that I was going to read to you was in June of 2008. I finished chemo in April of 2008, but I had the Herceptin infusions. I don't know, have any of you had Herceptin? Okay, well, you get it for a year and you go every 3 weeks, and you don't have the same side effects as the chemo, but it's still an infusion. So I don't know if any of you have felt this way, but I feel like it's not just a physical journey, it's an emotional, spiritual, and psychological journey. And when I was kind of done the first go-round after the lumpectomy and radiation, I was kind of like, oh, well, what do I do now? You know, you're so busy fighting it and going through all the treatments, and then you're just sort of like, okay, you're good. So even though I was still doing Herceptin, I was trying to rebuild my life, but I was kind of having a hard time with that. So this was right before my oldest son's high school graduation. I do not feel at peace or balanced. Is it coming off the chemo? Is it just the end of the school year? It doesn't seem to be anything in particular. It's everything. My body feels old and worn out, and although I'm exercising and functioning, I'm totally exhausted. I'm going to visit Dr. Limentani in Charlotte this morning because I haven't seen him when I've been there for Herceptin, and I need to check in with him once a month. I've started going to therapy again. That was another thing that really helped me, to talk to somebody that was just paid to sit there and listen to me. I feel like a powder keg ready to blow. I'm holding everything in. I don't know how to change how I feel, but I'm not fooling anyone. As I leave for my appointment, Nate comes running out the front door and knocks on my car window. Now, he's our middle son, so he was 16 at the time, and we really had a challenging time with him. So if you read the book, you'll find I'm very honest about all the teenager angst that they put us through. So Nate comes running out the front door and knocks on my car window. Mom, he says, I burned a de-stressor CD for you to listen to on your drive to Charlotte. He smiles as he hands it to me through the open window. And I just hold on to these things because he did put us through some stuff. And so when this kid did something like that, I just think, oh, all right, we're still there. Nate's CD does help get me to Charlotte. I try not to think about how I feel. Physically, I'm bloated. I used to love the hot, humid weather, but the chemo has changed me. I can't put my rings on my normally slender fingers. My hand tingles when I write, and when I'm outside for too long, I feel nauseated, short of breath, and my legs ache constantly. Mentally, I'm paranoid. Are my kids really doing what they tell me they're doing, going where they say they're going, and with whom? I want to trust them, but I question their every move. Emotionally, I'm angry. I can't relax. I don't want to be around anyone. Today I'm driving to Charlotte by myself. I just want to be alone for a few hours. I think about how wonderful it would be to just continue driving down the road, away. I'm having trouble praying. Last night, Nick and his friend Jack hosted a pool party at our house to celebrate school being out in the beginning of summer. The actual party went smoothly, but the communication beforehand was stressful. We